So this video is on herpes simplex keratitis, and it is made for the benefit of third year MBBS students who are going for their theory exam, NEET PG and next preparation. So to begin with, what is herpes simplex keratitis? Now, as the name suggests, it is inflammation of the cornea caused by the virus herpes simplex. Now moving on, as we all know, herpes simplex virus is a DNA virus, and then there are two types. There is HSV1 and HSV2. HSV1 is responsible for lesions above the waist, and HSV2 is responsible for lesions below the waist. Now, both of them can cause infection in a person and cause ocular type of lesions. Okay. So, how a person is going to acquire an HSV1 infection or an HSV2 infection? HSV1 infection is acquired by close contact with a patient who is suffering from herpes labialis. Close contact can refer to kissing. Then HSV2. How is a person see HSV2 infection mostly it occurs in neonates while they pass through the genital tract of the mother, and if the mother is suffering from HSV2 then the baby will get it. Okay, now the ocular lesions caused by HSV1, I mean HSV, is of two types: primary herpes and recurrent herpes. So, what happens in herpes simplex infection is that the first time it occurs in a person, that is called primary herpes. That is the first attack in an otherwise non-immune person. Okay, then the recurrent herpes is like first when the HSV infection happens in the person, it will cause lesions, then it will undergo a dormant state in ganglion, okay, in trigeminal ganglion, and then when there is a stressful condition, it will get reactivated and it will again show some different ocular lesions. Okay, so that is recurrent herpes. So in primary herpes we will see three types of lesions. One is skin infection, skin lesions, then conjunctival lesions, and then corneal lesions. Okay. Skin lesions include vesicles on eyelids, then conjunctival lesions include acute follicular conjunctivitis, and corneal lesions include fine and coarse epithelial punctate keratitis and dendritic ulcers. Then recurrent herpes include active epithelial keratitis. So again, recurrent herpes will show four types of lesions. First is the active epithelial keratitis, then there are stromal lesions, then there is trophic keratitis, and then iridocyclitis. Okay, inflammation of the iris and ciliary body. Then now under active epithelial keratitis, we will see three types of lesions. First one is punctate epithelial keratitis, then dendritic ulcer and geographical ulcer. Then under stromal keratitis, we will see disciform keratitis and diffuse stromal necrotic keratitis. Then trophic keratitis and herpetic iridocyclitis. Moving on, now we'll be looking at primary ocular herpes in a little bit of detail. Okay, so this occurs in a non-immune person, like a child from 6 months to 5 years of age. In child, this primary infection will occur. Okay, so it will have some systemic features, it will have some skin lesions, and then some ocular lesions, and it is a self-limiting disease. You don't need to give any drugs, it will resolve by itself. So systemic features include fever, malaise, non-suppurative lymphadenopathy, because it is a viral infection, so that's why non-suppurative. Then skin lesions include vesicles on the face, lips and lids and periorbital region. Then ocular lesions include unilateral blepharoconjunctivitis, which is characterized by conjunctivitis and keratitis, acute follicular conjunctivitis and keratitis. Okay, then this is self-limiting, it will resolve by itself, but you can give some oral acyclovir or vidarabine, topical trifluridine or vidarabine to limit the corneal involvement so that there is not much damage to the cornea. Now, once this is resolved, primary ocular herpes is resolved, then it will undergo dormant state in trigeminal ganglion. Okay, and then some stress, predisposing stress stimuli can come, like fever, malaria or flu attack, UV rays, general ill health, emotional or physical exhaustion, mild trauma, and even menstrual stress can occur, and this can lead to the formation of recurrent ocular herpes. Okay, so recurrent ocular herpes, I already told it's of four types. There will be epithelial keratitis, stromal keratitis, and metaherpetic keratitis, and iridocyclitis. Now, each of these conditions, the epithelial keratitis, they have different symptoms, signs, slightly different way of treatment, and stromal keratitis also will have different signs, symptoms, treatment, and metaherpetic keratitis also is slightly different. Okay, so first I will be talking about these epithelial lesions which we see. So in epithelial keratitis, the clinically what we will see is the symptoms and then signs. Symptoms, the patient will tell you, I have pain, photophobia, tearing, decreased vision, and redness. Then signs what you will see, this is very important. First, there will be punctate epithelial keratitis. Now, this is characterized by fine, coarse, and superficial lesions. In this picture, on the right upper top part, there is that green dots. You can see this green dot. The green color is coming because of a fluorescein dye that you apply in the patient's eye to visualize these lesions. Okay. So, these dots, that is the punctate epithelial keratitis. Then this punctate epithelial keratitis, they'll coalesce together to form a dendritic ulcer. This is the most common lesion. Usually the patient will present to you with this. It is irregular, zigzag, linear branching, and the branches are knobbed at the ends, and this knobbed end will have a lot of virus laden cells. Okay, and these cells, they take up rose bengal stain, and like I said, the floor of the ulcer is stained by fluorescein dye, that's why they appear green. Then there is also diminution of corneal sensation. Now here is a picture of dendritic ulcer on the left side. That green, see that branching kind of thing, zigzag appearance it has. Then what happens is that there's a formation of geographical ulcer. All these dendritic ulcer, they'll again coalesce together, and they'll enlarge and they form a larger epithelial ulcer. It's called a geographical ulcer, okay, because it looks like a map. See, it's all diffuse here. The right side lowermost picture, that is a geographical ulcer. Okay, so this part of epithelial keratitis is important. They might ask you a question as they'll ask you about dendritic ulcer. So you have to write about epithelial keratitis. You should write that it is a part of recurrent ocular herpes when there is predisposing stimuli. It comes from trigeminal ganglion. It reactivates. All that you have to write. Then symptoms you have to write, and signs you have to explain about all of these, and you have to write a little bit about dendritic ulcer, like whatever I have mentioned. Then treatment, antiviral drugs, acyclovir, ganciclovir ointments can be given, and then there can be mechanical debridement of the involved area. Then you can also give systemic antiviral drugs, again same, acyclovir, famciclovir, valacyclovir. Now here you should not give steroids. Steroids are contraindicated because it can worsen the dendritic ulcer. Okay, so you should never give steroids in epithelial keratitis. Moving on, next is the stromal keratitis of recurrent ocular herpes. So here there is two types of lesions. There is disciform keratitis, and then there is stromal necrotic keratitis. Now disciform keratitis, it occurs due to delayed hypersensitivity to the HSV antigen. So when there is delayed hypersensitivity to the HSV antigen, what happens is that there will be endothelial damage. And when endothelial damage comes, there is no active pumps now to prevent the aqueous humor from entering the stroma of the cornea. I already told the cornea's biggest layer is the stroma. 90% of the cornea consists of stroma. So aqueous humor, there's nothing preventing the aqueous humor from entering the stroma now. And when that happens, there will be stromal edema. So this stromal edema will lead to the formation of disciform keratitis. Now it has a slightly different form of signs, which we will see. Now symptoms are similar. There is ocular discomfort, photophobia, decreased visual acuity. Then in signs you will see disc shaped stromal edema. See, this is it is a disc shaped and it is stromal edema. And there is folds in the Descemet's membrane. Then there is keratic precipitates around the area of stromal edema, and a ring of stromal infiltrate known as Wesley ring is formed around the stromal edema. And there is same like epithelial keratitis, there is a decreased corneal sensations, and then there is a raised intraocular pressure. Now this can be treated with topical steroid eye drops. So it's okay to give steroids over here, but you should never give steroids in epithelial keratitis. Here you can give topical steroid eye drops, and same acyclovir is also given. Then the next type of lesion is stromal necrotic keratitis. Here the symptoms are same: pain, photophobia, redness. Then signs. Okay, so signs here you can see behind under an intact or an epithelial not under epithelial, sorry, under an intact epithelium or under an epithelial ulcer, there will be necrotic, blotchy, cheesy white infiltrates in the stroma. Okay, and you can also see mild iritis and stromal vascularization. Here also treatment is same. You can give topical steroids and you can give systemic antiviral drugs. Okay. Then next is the metaherpetic part of recurrent ocular herpes. Now this is a mechanical healing problem that occurs due to persistent defects in the basement membrane of corneal epithelium, which occurs at site of previous herpetic ulcer. Okay, so this is like already the ulcer is there and there is a healing problem over there. Herpetic ulcer is there and then there is a healing problem, that is metaherpetic keratitis. So there will be a indolent linear or ovoid epithelial defect. And now the treatment is very supportive over here. It is aim to cause healing, okay, healing of the ulcer. So we use lubricant, soft band, contact lens, and prolonged eyelid closure. So the lid can be brought together and made to close. So that is all about herpes simplex keratitis. Thank you.